pretty late to the party on this one, but I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in about this Harry Potter remake Snape recast. Ever since I heard about this remake, I've been pretty skeptical from the jump for quite a few reasons. Number one being that the Harry Potter movies hold up pretty damn well in my opinion. The stories and the writing are still solid. I would say the effects even look pretty decent even to watch in 2025. And I'd say Harry Potter probably had one of the best all-around cast out of any movie franchise ever. There's literally only one character that I think did not do a great job playing the role, and that's Ginny Weasley. And again, casting her was not really their fault because she was a kid when they cast her. You know, they didn't know she wouldn't really be able to embody what her character would be in the later movies. But I was really skeptical about this because remaking Harry Potter just doesn't seem like it's justified. There's just no way that you're going to find someone who can play a better McGonagall, a better Umbridge, a better Voldemort, a better Hagrid. I mean, there's just so many legendary performances. Gary Oldman as Sirius Black, the Weasley twins, Lupin. I just really don't see anyone living up to the expectations that we have because of those actors. And it's not just that they took the roles from the books and did a good job portraying them. I mean, Alan Rickman, as Snape, improves the character dramatically with his portrayal. Gilderoy Lockhart is way better in the movies and the books all around, I'd say. And by the way, this could be me and you together signing my fan mail, if you subscribe and I actually could get some fans. But I digress. A lot of the Harry Potter stars, they didn't just play the roles, they are the first thing you think of with the roles, even if you've read the books, right? I consider them more canon almost than how the original description in the books would be because of how well they create the character. The other reason I wasn't fully on board with this remake is that I watched the Fantastic Beasts movies, and I made a video about it. They're really fucking bad. And if the people that wrote those movies are the ones that are involved in this project, this thing is probably not going to be very good. Certainly not better than the originals were. But with all that said, there is one thing that kept me semi-interested in the potential of this series, and that is that this show has been marketed as being a more faithful recreation of the books than the movies were. By the Goblet of Fire, I'd say, the books were starting to get so long and complicated that the movies could not fit it into the runtime. Order of the Phoenix and Goblet of Fire are probably the worst offenders of this, even though overall they're still pretty good movies. And there are even a couple times where this reached critical plot points and the movies just kind of don't make sense because they weren't able to explain it in previous movies. Like when Harry in number 7 has Sirius's mirror shard and they don't explain how he got it at all or what it is. So in an ideal world, if this show was actually dedicated to faithfully one-to-one recreating the books, I would be on board with this. But the problem is, that's how it's marketed. And then the first thing they do is change the race of Severus Snape. And listen, I'm not always 100% against doing this to a character. I think in some cases it can make sense, right? Like if you wanted Idris Elba to play James Bond, I think that is a role he would probably be extremely good at. And I think he could easily encapsulate what that character is all about. But in this case, this is just a terrible decision on so many levels. Number one being that this shows that you will be changing things at your own discretion to fit what you want the story to be like. Which means the only thing that would redeem this remake and make it worthwhile, in my eyes, is already gone, since you are not actually dedicated to reconstructing the original vision that the author had when she wrote the books. And second, if you just absolutely have to do this, Severus Snape is literally the worst character in the entire story you could possibly choose to do this to. I think even Dumbledore would probably have a better chance of this working. Not only did Alan Rickman give probably the best performance out of any actor in any of the movies, and off the jump will be the hardest performance for the new actor to live up to. And that's without pitting the audience against them beforehand.
How dare you stand where he stood?
But Snape's position in the story makes this so awkward, because now we're going to watch Harry's dad, James, who is a very interesting, nuanced character that the audience is intended to feel conflicted about because he was a cruel bully in school, but grew up to be a great man that everyone praises, and he died attempting to save his family's life. We're going to watch him relentlessly bully the only black kid in school and give that whole situation and backstory this weird racial undertone that will completely eliminate any gray area in his personality and any redeeming redeeming qualities he had to most people in the audience, because nobody likes a racist. And to a lesser extent, that also applies to the other Marauders like Lupin and Sirius, and, well, nobody's saying Wormtail is some great guy, so not him, but you get the point. So if you don't want this decision to negatively affect how other characters in the story are perceived, you have to alter the story to make it work. And when you get to the point where you have to start changing things to make this fit, you've lost the plot, because now you're not telling the story as intended. And I'm not saying there isn't a world where this is an interesting idea and that there's not a great movie you could make out of something like this, but if you want to tell that story, just write a story that is about that. Do not hijack a franchise and turn it into the story you want to tell. And that's why this decision has turned me off so much to this reboot, because the show hasn't even started yet and you are already changing things, when the whole point of this would be to not change things, to be better than the movies in this regard. And I think Snape also just happens to be a character whose physical appearance is pretty integral to the heart of the character. I want to see a hook-nosed, pale, greasy, ugly, brooding man bully the fuck out of some 11-year-olds. That's what I'm signing up for. That should be the vibe when Harry steps into Snape's dungeon. This guy has to play the villain for 6 movies before he actually gets a redeeming quality. And he needs to look hateable and vindictive, like Boog from Meet the Robinsons grown up, you know? But even outside of Snape, I have seen the other castings that have been announced, and I'm not particularly excited about any of them, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure they'll do a fine job, like, there's some good actors in that lineup, and I'm sure the guy playing Snape is a good actor, but it's just not there for me. This reboot is just off the jump giving me so many signals that it is gonna be garbage. And I'd say the biggest reason this is such a red flag is because every other movie we've seen do this in the last 10 years, the second they start doing this kind of thing with the characters, you just know it's gonna be bad, because that's how it always is. The kind of people that force these changes into the stories do not know how to write good stories. And usually, when people start swapping characters around like this, that in itself is not the breaking point, but it's an early warning weather system, where you know a tornado's coming. Because if they're changing this, they're changing other things too. And people say it's not that big a deal, and for most characters I would say, yeah, it really isn't. But the thing is, if it's not that big a deal, and doesn't make that much of a difference, why don't you just do it right? Why don't you just cast the right person who fits the role?
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
And it's really the motivation of this change that is just eluding me. Because I can't imagine they don't know how the fans will react when they do this. You know, it's not like Harry Potter has to stir up a bunch of controversy for people to care about the reboot. It's one of the most successful franchises of all time. People will be watching. So it baffles me that they made such an obviously negative decision that will instantly stop so many people from deciding to watch your show. But on the off chance this whole thing works out, here's a couple things I want to see from this reboot. I want Harry to be sassier. I miss it. It was great in the books. It was definitely missing in the movies. Give him his sass back. And I swear to God, if Harry Potter doesn't have some fucking green eyes, I'm gonna lose my shit. I want Ron to not be a bumbling idiot. Stop making him so dumbed down. I want Ron to be the gateway into the wizarding world that Harry and Hermione don't understand. Hermione should not be the solve every problem, answer every question machine that she is in the movies. That really made Ron feel absolutely useless in the movies. I want to see the side plot from book 4 with Ludo Bagman and the Weasley twins and their bets. I want to see all that. That was so much fun in the books. I want to see them learning how to apparate from book 5. That was cool. I want to see Dobby during the time between book 2 and 7. There's a lot of stuff he's just cut out of in the movies. Oh, and I definitely want to see Creature from number 7 when he becomes likable and a great guy. It was just adorable. I want to see Hermione put Rita Skeeter in a fucking jar like a psychopath. Oh, and last, I want to see Harry Potter absolutely obsessed with Draco Malfoy like he is in The Half-Blood Prince, when he's just going full crazy ex-girlfriend mode on him. These are my demands. You have 24 hours. That's going to do it for this one though, everybody. Let me know how you're feeling about the show overall, what you think of this decision, and what you'd like to see most brought to the screen from the books. Like the video, comment, and subscribe, yada yada yada. And I'll catch you all in the next episode of HeadCannon.